The challenge with private money is its patience, right? And when you get investors who don't understand what it takes, I know lots of people who are angel investors and they have invested in a product company, right? And they'll tell me, oh, it's been 2 years, they're still working on their product, not a single sale. What are they talking about, So there's very little understanding and recognition of what it takes. Whereas that same investor could come and say, hey, look, I invested in this company, it was a prototype, now it's ready for, field trials or, larger scale trials, or it's going into, pilot manufacturing, or, they could phrase this very differently to define the progress. Unfortunately, most of them, it's sales, is pretty much what they know, and they don't understand that. On the non-private money, it's more technically driven in terms of what is the milestones that you should get to. So they do understand that, but somewhere they don't there is a gap between the two, and the two are, that gap has not really been bridged. So a common mistake for especially a hardware entrepreneur is to take the money from somebody who does not understand what you're doing and set the wrong expectations here. So the two pitfalls that I have seen here, one is you take it from a financial investor who doesn't understand. You sell him or her the story of how tomorrow you're ready to hit the market, and that's really not true, so it doesn't happen, so you run into trouble there, as opposed to the investor beating back on you and saying, hey, you don't hit the market, let's show you haven't got to this point or that point. The second piece is when, especially for social entrepreneurs, when they go into the impact investor space, you have to figure out what is the best market for your product. So if you go into the impact investing space and you are forced to sort of sell your story of how this is valid for the bottom of the pyramid, and the bottom of the pyramid is the hardest market that you're ever going to get to, you're making your journey just that much harder. And my advice to any of these entrepreneurs is please figure out which customer target segment, because that's the customer segment that you're going to iterate with and reiterate on your product design. Figure out what that is and figure out the easiest path there. Your objective is to get this technology out there. The impact investor should have the view that, look, in the long run, this will trickle down to the segment I'm interested in, so I'm seeding a much larger change. If they don't and say, look, you've got to sell it to the poorest guy who can't really afford to buy it or has never ever used something like this, or the infrastructure does not exist for your product to be used there, you're just building in more hurdles. So those are the two pitfalls that I see here from the wrong investor.